because we'll actually get in trouble for something like that.
Say
Like
that.
we'll get arrested for something like that. We'll
Wow.
get investigated for something
Where's
like
your
that.
parents? Yeah, because sometimes the kid may not even know the information he needs to say whenever he do get approached by an adult or someone else. Because if he says if he's misinformed, he gonna get picked up by the police. What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchets react, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we are back with another American reaction. We're super excited about this video, guys.
Yes.
If you're new to us and we're new to you, make sure you scroll down, hit the red subscribe button, and turn on the post notification bell because we're on the road to 50K. And we cannot get there without you guys. All right, join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
可愛い子には旅をさせろ
Send the beloved child on a journey. Japanese proverbs.
Japanese proverbs. I love proverbs.
I love Japanese people.
安藤聡子39歳です、家族3人です。主人と娘と私で暮らしています。
安藤誰です。7歳です。
そうですね。一人でお風呂に入るとか、一人で、歯磨きから洗髪、頭洗ったり。そうですね。大体のことは留守番以外はほとんどできると思います。
Okay.
娘は、小学校が遠いので電車で通っています。彼女一人で通っています。
She goes on her own.
In a big city.
Yes, really big.
一人で歩いて大塚の駅まで山手線で新宿まで行って新宿から中央線に乗り換えて、中央線で国分寺まで行きます。
そうですね。はい。だって一人だから何でも一人で解決しないと親がいないので。
That's
道
good.
に迷った時とか電車を間違った時とかも自分で解決する。じゃないと家に帰ってこれないですから。
The Ando family are not unique. You see, Japanese families encourage their children to travel to and from school alone every single day. By Western standards, Japanese culture emphasizes independence and self-reliance from an extraordinarily young age. In fact, one of Japan's most loved and longest running TV shows is called My First Errand, in which young children are given neighborhood tasks and
He crying.
set out them alone.
You don't want to go out there by yourself.
Sibling in tow.
My First Errand is appealing because all Japanese people have had that experience of having their parents entrust them to do some simple job, where they leave the house on their own and they come back to the house on their own. And it's funny.
Probably he didn't get the right thing.
Okay, hold on. Let's take a break. Okay, so
Yep.
encouraging children. Okay, let's start back. The child got up by herself. She was able to do all of the things that she needs to do to get ready in the morning. That's good. That's normal. Traveling to school by herself, but having to catch the different trains, and if she get lost, it's on her. With no cell phone, looks like.
Yeah.
So okay, that's okay.
It's giving a lot of independence, man.
Yeah.
That's good stuff, though. Like
That is.
you would want that for your child. I mean, you throwing them to the wolves is the phrase we will use, but at the same time, they're developing a mindset that needs to be developed at some point of life anyway. You get where I'm coming from?
Right. And I was gonna, we always like to compare and contrast. I was going to say that because he said by Western standards, so American, and see, we can't. I don't like the generalization thing. So I was going to say that here in America, our schools are like closer to the house. Like we're zoned for our schools.
Yeah.
So our children are able to do that, but having to change the train stations and all that. And from what I've seen, like, movies, I have not done research on Japanese culture and all of that yet. But from what I've seen, it's big cities.
Yeah, big cities.
So our children wouldn't need to travel that far.
Gotta think about it though. Like they walk to the bus stop, period, and then they hop on the bus. But if the kid don't know what's going on, they can miss the bus, and another bus could come and they could get on the wrong bus.
Right.
And it wouldn't even be the wrong school because it's zoned, like you said.
Right.
But
and it's close to the house.
at some point, they will be told by an adult or the bus driver, hey, what's your bus number, or who's your bus driver, things like that, so they can put them back on the right course. So it's kind of running a little sort of hand in hand, but I feel a lot more freedom is coming from this video.
Yes,
a lot more freedom, a lot more development.
Them having
character building,
character building with solving problems and all of that.
I like it.
I like it as well. I'm just amazed. Like she's all these crowds of people, and she's just like, oh, this is a normal day for me. Like
no tears, no crying, none of that.
Well, until the first kid on his first errand.
Yeah. He started busting out until he wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
In Japan, giving him an insight into Japanese crime and justice no other Westerner has. He, like many foreigners, noticed something different about Japan.
As I was walking to the station, I would see the kids coming from the station with their little backpacks on, walking towards the school, thinking, where are the adults? Like, who's making sure these kids cross the road and, get to school okay? Even my own daughter, when she was about 4 or 5, and she said, I'm just going to walk there myself. And she left, and, I put down the phone, chased after her. She ran all the way to school, and of course nothing happened to her. And I was like, maybe in Japan, that's how it works.
Yeah.
It's Monday morning on Sydney's affluent Lower North Shore, where the Fraser family are starting the day.
My name's Rob Fraser. I'm 47 years of age. There's 3 of us in the family. There's myself, there's Jane, and Emily, who's 10. There's an apple in your bag, Em. Please don't leave the apple in your bag all week. Line 10 and line 12 again. All right. Tennis rackets in the car.
Have you ever gone to school by yourself?
No, not yet.
What do you do? We're in Japan. You would have been going to school for 4 years by yourself already. What do you think about that?
It's cool.
I had a conversation with her the other day about, what would she like to do? Would she like to get the bus to school, and would she like to go on her own? She made it very clear that she would like to do that.
The one thing I'm most looking forward to in high school is walking home from school by myself and having a key and everything.
It's cool to hear from young minds, though.
Yeah.
And I'll see you later.
In fact, studies show kids want to walk to school.
That is true. That is 100% true.
Yeah.
The evidence is irrefutable that children are not safe to cross roads on their own until they're 10.
Until they're 10? Oh, God.
Oh, what are you doing? Get down, Jimmy.
On their own to school, even though
this is Australia?
on the footpath the whole way.
But it should be safe. You see, Emily's school, Middle Harbour Public, was the first to trial a 40km/h school zone in Australia.
It's also a cultural...
I was a little
24-hour school zone.
Oh, I thought they said that. Talking about something
school
else.
zone. I mean, a lot of people have one thing on their minds, and that's themselves. They don't care less about anyone else.
Group socialization is huge in Japan. Having parents pick up and drop off their kids would be bad for Japan Incorporated. And that's one of the reasons you probably don't see it. It's also one of the other reasons that Japan and Japanese society is set up to make it safe for kids to commute to school. Because if parents have to be responsible for that commute.
Hey, but pause though, but you got to think about it. Japan is ahead of the time. Like, if you even look at them, everyone is walking. Why is that?
Yes.
If you're looking at them, all the kids are going to school by themselves from young ages. Like they just said in in Australia, was it?
Yeah.
They got was it Australia?
I think that was just Australia when they said they're testing a 24-hour school zone.
But
or it could have been Japan.
But it was mentioned, somewhere there was mentioned in the video that the kids can only cross the roads at a certain age.
By
because
10.
of supervision, right?
By 10.
So, just alone, man, like, just from these little small facts they're giving us, you can see how ahead of the time they are with just cultural and doing things in a perspective that we'll know that will benefit the kid in the future. 100%. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
They're going to have to reorganize the entire workforce and the way companies work.
Japan, of course, has an exceptionally low crime rate. They have more than 5 times the population of Australia, but less than 4 times the homicides we have.
Bro, and that's
very few cases.
That speaks volumes. Let me just pause it real quick. That speaks volumes to a lot of decision making that everybody. But if you look at the charts, bro, like you can see when there's more trouble and like all these things that's going on in locations, everyone has to make different adjustments.
Yeah, like the
you know what I'm saying, for safety precautions. Like let's get straight to it. But I hear in Japan, like they don't need to do all of that.
Right.
It's very low, and that's why you have more people. Civilization is more massive. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and it's normal there.
Very normal.
You know?
Yeah, that's crazy. I like it though. I like it.
Yeah.
In 12 years, I was a worker. That's the only one I can count.
But to say kids go alone to school because of a low crime rate would miss more subtle and underlying forces.
Our society suffers from a paranoia about leaving children on their own. I think some of it's probably ill-perceived, but a lot of it is understood.
I don't believe there's any more dangers now, other than traffic, than there were 30, 40 years ago. I think the fact that it's more in the public eye, it's in the press all the time, but I think also the social pressure element of letting go and letting them go and do things at such a young age, I think is actually quite difficult to take on.
It's a lot of self-doubt that comes with it if something was to happen though, and I've seen stuff like that happen.
Obviously, I should always put them on a trip. So the meaning is, if you love your kids or you want your kids to be smarter, send them to do something, send them on a trip.
可愛い子には旅をさせろ。この意味は過保護になりすぎずにできる範囲のことは一人でやらせる。ある意味ちょっと突き放すと言いますか、っていう意味じゃないですかね。
Kids
I
are
like
less
that.
independent nowadays. It's just the way it is. You have got me thinking about it. You've got me thinking that maybe I'm getting a little bit paranoid.
Okay.
All right, parents, go ahead. Put "I'm paranoid" in the comment section. If you were one of those parents who just cringe and let your child go and wondering what their safety would be like at the end of the day.
Right.
For real though, because hey, this video speaks volumes. I love it.
It does. It does. But I guess we're here because we can only speak about America because that's where we live. That's where we have grown up. We've lived here all of our lives. So I think a part of the reason why this, unless it's a widespread change, wouldn't work for us, like sending our 5-year-old to the store by himself, because we'll actually get in trouble for something like that. We'll get arrested for something like that. We'll get investigated for something
Where's
like
your
that.
parents?
You know?
Yeah, because sometimes the kid may not even know the information he needs to say whenever he do get approached by an adult or someone else. Because if he says if he's misinformed, he gonna get picked up by the police.
Right, and what they're gonna say that child neglect.
Right,
something.
and then the CPS gonna pop in, and then they're gonna take, and then we have some fishy stuff that just doesn't make sense. So we have to have that protocol over kids, and a certain extent. Now, like they said, the age gap from 10 o'clock.
They said it's expected for children to know how to cross the street at age 10.
At age 10.
Yeah, but the children are taught way younger. And I mean, if you are a parent who, who's outdoors with your child a lot, your child will know those things at an earlier age. That's why I said generalizations, it's cringy to me, because it's just because one set of people do it in America doesn't mean that all sets do it in America. So speaking back on our childhood, of course that was what 30 years ago, but we were able to do things because it was a simpler time back then. And that's like when we gave the example of, you know, when I grew up in New Orleans, I was doing the things that they were doing.
Right.
But for us now, because now we live in a bigger city, now, you know, a lot more, of course, we don't live, like, the area of town we live in, it's not much crime, but because it exists, we just can't do certain things. Even allowing your child to walk to school on their own, like, it just depends on the area, and it's like, it's just certain things that we can't do by law, which is why in our culture we just don't do a lot of things because the parents can get in trouble.
So even like, so here's another way you can look at it. Just check out the movies. Like, in the movies, you can see in Japan the uniform never changed.
Yeah, it's always like
it's always what you see. It's the realization of it. But for us in movies, you see kids and the group of kids and they just being bad and they doing stuff they don't have no business doing. They jumping fences, and that's not real expectations of our lifestyle when it comes to children. They really out here like just chilling, playing on the park, shooting ball most of the time, like they minding their business. But if you're at the park and you're with your children, a lot of things can go wrong because your child can walk off and then your parent look up and be like, where's my child? Right. Because we don't have that expectation to let our child just wander and do the heck they want to do 24 hours at a time. They're always under some sort of supervision.
Yeah, and I think we are always like supervising our children because of the dangers that we do have in America.
From age now to what it is now, the realization of it.
Yeah, because when you look at it statistically, where is a lot of the abductions taking place? Along the school routes, along the parks, in the grocery stores. There's people that are in restrooms that shouldn't be in the restrooms because you don't want a security guard at the restroom. Like, that's not realistic. Why do they have to have a security guard at the restroom? It's because there's mentally ill people, and we gotta say that mentally ill, because what person will want to harm a child? Right. There's people there that's just doing stupid things, but so yeah, guys, we hope you all enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell. We have enabled our super things.
Check it out.
It is the heart with the dollar sign.
It doesn't.
Yeah. If you would like to support the channel that way, and we have our PO box in the description below if you would like to send us anything. We'll see you soon. Peace.